Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be with you all. Starting as we always do with a question that's come in advance from our family joining us from online, and then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here has. How with thoughts? This is asked by Naval Singh Gautam. How do we stop the constant thoughts? So first of all, it's really important to realize that thoughts themselves are not the problem. The problem is not being able to control the thoughts, but having the thoughts control us. If what I'm having continually is a thought that says, oh God, I love you, God. Everything is so beautiful and perfect. I am one with the universe. Sounds like heaven, right? I mean, would you ever say, oh my God, like when is that going to stop? The dilemma is when we are assailed with these thoughts that seem like we can't control them, and they are useless at best, but very frequently actually negative and detrimental. They're the thoughts in our mind that are constantly judging ourselves, judging others, that are constantly afraid, fear, stress. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. You'll be homeless. You won't have any money. Everybody will hate you. It's going to be a disaster. That sort of thought. So we have to recognize that thoughts themselves are not the problem. It's that they are not under our control. If I'm trying to solve a math problem, or trying to solve any problem for that matter, if I'm trying to make a logical decision where you've got to weigh the pros and the cons, I want my mind to be working continually. You don't want the mind to be stalling out on you like a car on a hill. You want it to keep going. You don't want to have this brain fog or brain freeze. So the continual nature, again, isn't the problem, as long as it's under our control. So the key then becomes, how do I bring thoughts under my control? And if you actually look biochemically at the structure of the brain, it isn't a muscle. It's very, very different from muscle fibers. But I always think of the brain as a muscle, because exactly the way that muscles work is exactly the way the brain works. How you train it is exactly what it's going to be able to do. If you never lift up anything, you'll never be able to lift up anything. If you never develop a muscle, it will not be there when you need it. And in the same way, if we never work with the mind, we'll never develop the ability to work with the mind. But you would never say, oh my God, I am a useless person because I can't lift up this big bowling ball. You would simply say, my arms aren't strong enough. I haven't worked them out. And in the same way, when our minds do this, don't hate yourself. Don't berate yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm useless because here's what my mind does. Just recognize, I haven't yet worked this muscle. And how to work it? meditation and mindfulness. Imagine I'm sitting here. Let's say we're not having satsang. None of you are here. Let's say I'm just here alone, sitting in the beautiful evening. And I'm just sitting here. Then I reach over and I reach to get my glass of water. But as I'm sitting here, my mind is going, yesterday was a nicer evening. It's hotter today. Oh, I bet tomorrow is going to be so hot. And I have so much to do. It's just going to be awful. God, it's sticky tonight. I bet there's mosquitoes around here somewhere. Oh my God, what if I get malaria or dengue? Then I'll get sick and I'll die. Now, that's one way to sit here. With the mind just doing what the mind does. Wandering around, roaming aimlessly, getting us into trouble. Another way to sit here, even if I'm not specifically meditating, it's not a matter of I have to be like this. I can just be here. But I'm aware. I'm noticing my breath. I'm noticing the feeling in my physical body, where it's tight, where it's loose. I'm noticing the inhalation and the exhalation. I'm not trying to change anything, I'm just being with it. I'm noticing if there's a fragrance in the air. Maybe I notice the sounds of people in the residential rooms around. Not telling any stories about it. Not having any judgment about it. Just being aware. Just passing awareness, passing thought, like clouds blowing across a blue sky on a windy day. They're just objects that I am aware of. It's a fragrance, it's a sound, it's a feeling in my body, it's my breath. I'm just aware of them. But as I sit here, I notice that I am the one who's aware. I am that who is aware of the fragrance, who is aware of the sound. That which I'm aware of keeps changing. But the I who's just here and aware, it's the same. Then maybe I take my glass to have some water. And as I hold it again, I'm just aware. I notice the way it feels in my hands. I'm not using this time to, pick up my phone and start scrolling any messages or scrolling social media. I'm not trying to do something in the moment. I'm just being mindful, just being aware, just noticing. Noticing the way the water feels as it goes down. So, a very simple practice like that, a practice of what we call mindfulness. Our formal meditation is different, just as important. Powerful practice. Everyone should meditate. At least once a day, ideally twice a day. Ideally all day long. But beginning with kind of bare minimum once a day, ideally morning and evening. If you can bring in a third time, either around noon or around sunset time, very powerful. But we should develop this ability to be mindful even when I'm not sitting in formal meditation. I'm just sitting. And maybe instead of sitting alone, maybe I'm sitting in a board meeting. Maybe there's 15 people around me at a big table and there's somebody up at the front of the room and they're talking or they're yelling or they're whatever it is. As I sit there, I notice. I notice the sound that's coming in. I notice the feeling in my body. Maybe my stomach is starting to contract a little bit as my boss gets angrier and angrier. But I just notice. I'm just aware. Again, I go back to how does it feel in my body? How does it feel in my breath? I notice sounds. I notice smells. And I just develop an ability to not be lost in thought. I develop an ability to just, as Ram Dass told us 50 plus years ago, to just be here now. Just that ability. It's not rocket science. It's just, can you actually be here now? And if you can, and you can develop it as a habit, you will be able to stop the uncontrollable, constant thoughts. Because the thoughts pull you out of here. The thoughts are what happen when I'm not here. Because in my thoughts, I'm in yesterday, I'm in 10 years ago, I'm in my childhood, I'm in next week, next month, I'm in my dinner. I'm anywhere but right here. So if I'm here, by definition, I'm not lost in thought. I'm right here. Mindful, present, conscious, aware. So just develop that. Use it as a practice. As you walk. Don't try to get your messages done while you walk. It's not the perfect time to check your messages or catch up on a few phone calls. I know the temptation is so strong. I've got 5 free minutes walking from here to my car, walking from here to the next meeting. But grab the time to strengthen the power of your mind rather than to just cross things off your to-do list. At the end of the day, you're actually going to feel much more satisfied. Because then slowly, slowly, you'll develop that muscle of the mind. And then when thoughts come that are just nonsense and annoying, you'll just be able to notice them. Ah, wandering mind. Ah, anxiety. Ah, fear. Ah, resentment. Ah, grandiosity. Ah, tomorrow. Ah, yesterday. You just notice them. Then you come back here to the breath, to the moment. So it's a beautiful skill to develop, and it's beautiful along the way. So the destination is beautiful, but the journey is also beautiful. And it just gives you the ability to have control over where the mind goes. Because the mind is not the enemy. The thoughts are not the enemy. The lack of control of them is the enemy. If my legs did nothing but carry me into bars and brothels, and I kept getting into trouble, well, I wouldn't blame my legs. It's not my legs' fault that I ended up drunk in a bar. It's the fact that I don't have any control over my legs. Legs are great. They can carry me to Arti. They can carry me to Satsang. They can bring me to Rishikesh. They can hike mountains. Legs are wonderful. The problem is if I have no control over them, and then I end up in places I don't want to go. Same thing with the mind. Don't blame the mind. Simply recognize, I don't have control. I haven't worked the muscle. And then work it. Other questions? Yes, there's a mic right there. You can. He'll just turn it on.
Thank you so much, and I really want to thank the universe for giving me this opportunity to be able to see you and hear you. My name is Maushmi, and I'm from Northern California, and I'm returning tomorrow, so I have tried to clump so many of my questions, so please pardon me for those.
No problem.
So I'm trying to phrase, and this is for me, and I hope this might be for some other people too. So what I find is a lot of times I feel connected, and a lot of times I feel like I know he is there, but I cannot reach, I cannot connect, okay? It's like and especially on the day off or something, I feel like today I don't have to go to work, so I just don't have that energy because I have like thousands of other errands, and I feel like I don't want to get up because I won't be able to, strike off the things. So in that phase, I really can't even do a little bit of whatever, like rituals I would do. Second thing I'm just trying to clap up so
That's
many.
okay, no problem.
And then, like sometimes I feel like people say that they get guru um, by the grace of Lord. So I think like, okay, if I search, if I try, it's going to happen if only God's grace is there. So what's the point of trying to find? And then I feel like I wish the guru could come and help me, that's how I kind of feel. So that's one of the questions. I'll again take one more. I'm sorry
No
to do
problem,
this. I'm
no
leaving
problem.
tomorrow.
Nothing to be sorry.
Okay. So the second thing is passion. Okay. So how, and I have to say I grew up in India a long time back, and your passion is not what you are able to find out, because your parents kind of decide from your career to your everything else, and they do it for a good reason. So I have to say at 16 or 17 when I went into my career, and I have no regrets, but I never got to know what my passion is, and I just followed along. So now at this point where I feel like I want to, or what is my passion, maybe it is, but I feel like, how would I be able, it's like a draw, even if I have all this, good intentions and want to do big things, I feel like I have no chance. So I feel like maybe I shouldn't even think about those things where I can make a difference. And, I feel like giving up. And then I feel like, no, I want to make a difference. So I'm sorry about all that.
Nothing to be sorry at all. This is the place for all of that.
Thank you so much. It's so beautiful to just see you and hear your voice. Thank you again for the opportunity.
So, first of all, that connection to the divine. Make a rule. Just like no matter how much you have to do, you would never say, oh my God, I'm too busy to brush my teeth. Forget it. Chordo or squaj, I've got too much else to do. I'll just skip brushing my teeth so that I can get to my errands. You would never say, I don't have time to have a shower today. Forget it, I'm just going to go right into my errands. There's certain things that however busy you are, you're going to do. You're going to brush your teeth. You're going to have a shower. You're going to go to the bathroom when you need to go to the bathroom. Right? Hopefully you're going to eat something. Right? I mean, hopefully you're not so busy that you're going to skip meals. The dilemma comes when our spiritual practice gets given a lower priority than things like brushing our teeth or taking a shower or making our morning cup of coffee. And so that's a priority issue. What I would say is don't think of it as either or. So if you think of it as in order to be connected, I have to go through this very long series of rituals, then yeah, there will be days where you don't have time. But don't think about it like that. God doesn't need a whole series of rituals. All you need is to just feel connected. And so even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even if it's just a moment. I assume you're married? You're a widow. I'm so sorry. So when you were married, and I assume you have children, so there would have been mornings when everybody was very busy. You were busy, your husband was busy, your children were busy. And yet, even if you didn't have time to sit down and have a leisurely family breakfast, nonetheless, before you walked out of the house, there was at least a quick kiss, an I love you, a hug, a have a good day, a moment of connection. And that's enough. Yes, you relished the days when you could sit and have a leisurely family breakfast together. But even on the days when you couldn't, it's okay. Just a moment of connection. Quick kiss, quick hug. Whatever it is, it's enough. It's the same with God. Don't abandon that moment of connection just because you don't have time for a really long meditation or a long puja. Make sure that during the week there are days in which, like you sit for a family breakfast, family dinner some days, make sure there are days. You sit, you do Hanuman Chalisa, you do Sundarkand, you do this, you do that. But okay, doesn't have to be every single morning. Maybe it's just you're lighting a diya in the mandir. Just lighting a diya. Closing your eyes for 3-4 minutes. Chanting a mantra or two. Doing one mala of japa. Right? I mean, think about just kind of that reconnection. Just enough that your battery is recharged. And what you'll find is, starting there makes you want to do more. So you'll say, okay, I'll only start my errands after I do one mala of japa. And after you do one, automatically, the mind says, the errands can run, I'm going to do another mala. Because automatically that power of the spiritual connection gets so strong that you realize, yeah, my errands can wait another 7 minutes. Or you sit to meditate for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes you think, chalo, thodi der aur baithte hain. Because it starts to feel like you are in the arms of the beloved. And even though you may have thought, oh, I'm so busy, I just have time for a really, really quick hug, and then I got to get on the way. Once you're in that quick hug, the mind and body go, thodi der aur, thodi der aur. Because you feel it. So allow yourself not the black or white thinking. Figure out in your mind how much, no matter how busy I am, how much do I know that I can do every day? Even if it's 5 minutes. But at least do the 5 minutes. Worst that happens, you only do 5 minutes. But I think what you'll find is that those 5 minutes, automatically they grow. But it doesn't weigh on the brain that says, oh my God, I've got a whole list. Because you know it's only 5 minutes. It's faster than my shower. I spend more time brushing my teeth and bathing than I do here. So you do it. So you start with that. But do make sure that in your priorities of things to do, you make sure to take care of yourself, like you take care of your physical body by bathing and eating. You would never say, oh, tonight I just don't have time to sleep. I have too much to do. I mean, occasionally in all of our lives it happens. I imagine that we all have pulled more than one all-nighter in our life, but not on a regular basis. You wouldn't say, oh yeah, I'll just stay up again all night tonight because my list isn't done yet. You'd realize this is not sustainable. Yeah, an emergency, it arises. We do it. By God's grace, the human body is resilient enough, an occasional all-nighter, but not frequently. You realize it's not sustainable. I have to sleep. In the same way, yeah, there may be a day that it's just full on. And all you really had time for was the quick 5 minutes, okay. But you're going to realize, not sustainable. Make time. And you will. I know you will. And then moving into the guru question. it's said, as you mentioned, when the disciple is ready, the guru comes. And I've seen that's really true. The dilemma comes that are we always open to that guru, to the presence of that guru? Now, I do believe it's important to use your best judgment. I mean, these days there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people, in person, online, who would be very happy to assume the role of being your guru. That doesn't mean that they all should be. So I'm very supportive of taking the time to really make sure that this person, that it feels right. Because sometimes it's really easy to get caught up. There's a crowd, there's charisma, there's lights and bells and this, and it's easy to get caught up. Especially if somebody is saying, I'm your guru. Follow me, I'm the best. Make sure that, you deeply check in. The guru is the one who removes darkness and brings light. But as I always emphasize, the light that the guru shines on us is the light of ourselves. Ask yourself, in this being's presence, do I see the light of myself? The role of the guru is not to shine the light on the guru. It's not, hey, can you see me with these flashlights? It's, can you see yourself? And so, it may be some time. I'm not clairvoyant, so I couldn't say to you, this is the right guru or this is when. I do know that it will happen. As you are ready, it will absolutely happen. It feels to me like you are ready. And if you feel like it hasn't happened yet physically, there are so many beautiful masters who maybe are no longer in their bodies, but whose wisdom and whose light is available to us through books, through videos, if they were, living at a time when there were videos, but if not, at least through books, through teachings. So if you haven't found a guru in their bodies yet, begin with someone who maybe isn't still in their body. There's so many divine masters, just whose wisdom speaks to you. And allow yourself to really feel that. But there is something very, very powerful, extraordinarily powerful, and an extraordinary blessing about having a guru who is in their bodies. Because the benefit is that it prevents the ego from running away from you. If you're able to just interpret however you want what a guru no longer in their bodies has said or is teaching, it's a bit of a fertile ground for the ego and its games. Whereas a guru in their bodies is much more likely to say to you, I remember Pujya Swamiji saying to me once, the very beginning, I don't know, he'd been here maybe a year or so, and I had gone to him with some story, and he looks at me and he says, you are the stupidest smart person I've ever met. Now, that's not something that ever would have occurred to my ego. I thought I was fully right in whatever it was that I had brought to him. And just in one slap, not a physical slap, but a metaphoric slap, a slap of the ego. Just the illusion of the moment, gone, washed away. I mean, literally, it's as though metaphorically they've gone whack, and you just go, oh, and then you can see. So there's a very great blessing of having a guru in the body. But have faith, it will absolutely happen. Absolutely it will happen. And lastly, in terms of passion. This is going to sound very controversial, but speaking from the truth of my heart and from what I've experienced in my life, I think passion is overrated. And I think it's overrated because it tends to come and then it tends to dissipate. Now, of course, it depends how we define the word. But that sense of this incredible amount of energy around something, drive for something, excitement for something, exuberance for something. It's wonderful. It's a great energy. But I wouldn't make it the most important defining energy that you're looking for. Because what passion does is it propels you. It propels you forward. This is my passion. Great. But honestly, if I had to choose between passion and compassion, I would rather be compelled or propelled by compassion, because compassion actually connects us to others. It unites us to others. And ultimately, I think that experience of compassion plays a greater role in ultimately a sustainable, a deep, a meaningful joy in life and meaning in life than passion. That being said, if you find at this stage of your life that there are things that you really want to do, that you love, that feel to you like they're a part of your dharma, and you've held them in your mind, in your awareness for decades, by all means do them. Consider them your dharma. I mean, if something has been there in you like that, never think, I can't do it, I'm not capable. Allow yourself the freedom to at least try. Worst comes to worst, you fail. Okay. But at least you tried. Give yourself that freedom. I've never known anyone on their deathbed who said, God, I wish I tried fewer things in my life. God, I wish I had less courage. God, I wish I took less risks. God, I wish I had listened to my inner voice less, and I wish I listened to the neighbors more. I've never heard of anyone who says that. It's always the opposite. But go into it knowing that you're not going into it for what it's going to bring you. You're going into it for the experience of trusting your intuition, your drive, your dharma, your passion, a purpose, whatever it may be. Go into it for that. It blossoms, wonderful. It doesn't, it's blossomed in you. I mean, there are some things that just honestly, it is better to learn and start when we're really young than when we get older. But it's never too late. It's never too late. You know, I think about people like Prabhupada, you know, who started the whole ISKCON movement in America. He was 69 when he went to America. Never been on a boat, taking Krishna's name to America. Right? I mean, it's an age where most people feel like I'm done. Right? Say, ab kuch nahi hoga. Now, just, you know, whatever time I have left, I'll just sit here and sort of wait to die. 69 years old. Didn't know anyone. No money in his pocket, no nothing. But he knew he had a passion, a compassion, a dharma, a drive. Share Krishna's name. 69, gets on a boat to America. Today, wherever you go, any big city, and so many even like smaller cities, ISKCON temples, so much. I mean, the movement is huge. It's beautiful. They're doing incredible work. So there's lots of examples of people who actually at ages much younger than you. No, sorry, much older than you. You're much younger than they are. At ages much older than you. Embarked on entire new life journeys. If you've got a voice inside that's saying do it, don't shut the voice up. Listen to it. Just make sure that you're clear with yourself that you're doing it for the doing of it, rather than for what is going to come from it. Because at this stage of our life, we're too old to be really concerned about what people say about us, right? It's one of the joys about getting older, is you lose that sort of, oh my God, what is everyone going to say about me? People are going to laugh at me. Oh my God, what if I fail? So you don't want to rechannel the stress of youth, the insecurity of youth. Go into new things with the wisdom and the grounding and the anchoring and the self-confidence of maturity. You're going to listen to the inner voice. It's going to blossom however it blossoms. It's going to become whatever it's meant to become. But you're far beyond the age of wondering and worrying. Okay, what people are going to think, or oh my God, what if I fail, or I'm not good enough. It's stuff for high school and your 20s. You're beyond that. Go into it with the maturity and the wisdom of, I'm listening to my inner voice. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Yes. Other questions? Yeah. Just gonna.
Namaskaram. My name is Rahul, and I always see things mathematically, like what are the positives and negatives in everything. And sometimes I feel this is not the right way, but how can I change it if and only if this is not the right way to approach things and relations as well?
Great. So logic is wonderful. As long as what you are looking at or thinking about is something that can be figured out logically. Plus points, minus points, pros and cons, weighing things clearly. It's a wonderful skill. It's using the mind as a tool. However, there are things that cannot be looked at like that. And so you want to be sure that you're also able to drop that. For example, in your relationships, people you love should not be looked at like that. You don't want to be measuring up what you like about them and what you don't, what's good about them and what's not. Their good qualities, their bad qualities. Don't think about people like that. Only see the good. And when you think about yourself, if you're looking at your actions, your words of the day, sure, great. Where was I in alignment? Where was I not? Where was I skillful? Where was I not? Where was I truthful? Where was I not? Great. But when you're looking at the truth of who you are, don't line yourself up like that, because who you are is divine. And so just make sure that you're also able to break out of that for that which is not meant to be put in a box. that which doesn't have those qualities and characteristics. Like love, like self, like truth, like connection. So use it for all of the rest, no problem. Wonderful. As we conclude satsang tonight, we have Sharaji hai yahan? आशीष भैया शारा जी है, वो कुछ गाना चाहते थे, अगर है तो तुरंत गा लें. There's a gentleman who's written a song, half in Hindi, half in English, who had wanted to share it. Yes, wonderful. So our Dinesh Shahra ji has written, as I was just telling you, this beautiful song inspired by his visit with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Shri Krishna, about the lessons that he took from being in the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and wanted to share it all with us. Beautiful.
Good evening. We are all truly blessed to have Bhagawati ji with us, and you must have had a nice satsang, meditation, and her teachings. I've been associated, I know her for almost more than 2 decades when she came in, and we are truly blessed. So this Bhagawati ji was very close to Dalai Lama ji, and I had visited for the first time Dharamshala, and I met him, and the experience which I have cannot be described, and his teachings and preachings and his dream for the youth and youngsters and all of us, I tried to put in a song, because the Tibetans do not know Hindi, and we know all it. So it's a mix of Hindi and English. So we'll just sing together. Love, compassion, joy, peace, let our life be filled with these. May we live in unity and oneness of humanity. Love, compassion, joy, and peace, let our lives be filled with these. May we live in unity and oneness of humanity. लाए हम एक नया दौर, खुशियाँ बिखरे चारों ओर, हम सब एक हैं, सब अपने हैं, दिल से दिल की बांधे लो. Love, compassion, joy, peace, let our lives be filled with these. May we live in unity and oneness of humanity. La 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 la. नाचो गाओ, प्रेम की दुनिया में फैलाओ, सेवा धर्म ध्यान ज्ञान से जीवन का तुम जश्न मनाओ. खेलो नाचो गाओ, प्रेम की दुनिया में फैलाओ, सेवा धर्म ध्यान ज्ञान से जश्न मनाओ.